I'm Aaron Maté, sitting in for Jimmy Dore here with Misha Pollan and Americans comedian Kurt Metzger. Russia says Ukraine tried to kill Putin with nighttime drone attack on the Kremlin. Incredible footage of what Russia says was Ukraine's attempt to kill Putin in a drone strike. Here it is. There it is. The drone flies in, it gets blown up. I gotta say,
okay, that makes sense. I didn't realize it getting blown. I thought like it just dropped the shittiest payload, but that's the thing blowing up.
I mean, what I'm surprised by, let's say, if this really was a Ukrainian drone, which I won't discount.
Do they have our drones?
Well, but also, how could it have gone past all other Russian air defenses? It just only hit this air defense at the point of.
It probably was disguised as a Chinese balloon.
Well, anyway, who knows? But for his part,
it's such like a stupid. I feel like if we were doing a drone strike, it would work, or we wouldn't do it. Right? Am I wrong about that?
Yeah. For his part, the Ukrainian President Zelensky, he's denying all involvement. But the problem is, so look, it doesn't seem quite plausible that this really would be a Ukraine drone because, again, how could it evade all these Russian air defenses?
I thought it was a civilian drone, though. Wait. I was watching something about this. I thought that drone was not as it wasn't like a military thing. It got in as a.
I got you. Okay. Well, hey, look.
That's the thing I saw. I'm vaguely remembering it, but something like that is how it would get passed.
Right. Okay.
Not that I know if that's the real thing.
Okay. Well, fair enough. For his part, though, Zelensky is denying it, but listen to his denial. It doesn't sound very convincing. It doesn't sound very convincing.
We don't attack Putin or Moscow. We fight on our territory. We are defending our villages and cities. We don't have, enough weapon for this. That's why we don't use it anywhere. For us, that is the deficit. We can't spend it. What? And we didn't attack Putin. We leave it to tribunal.
We don't have we can't afford to waste our precious weapons killing the leader of the whole thing.
Yeah, it doesn't fly. And see, I could believe that Ukraine didn't do this. I could believe it. But
does he want people to think? Okay, does he want Putin to think? Because this is why I thought they would. Because they have no problem. Oh, World War III for 100%. That should happen.
Yeah.
It's totally worth it.
Yeah.
It's the most important place in the entire universe.
Yes.
For you as much as us.
Yeah.
So let's say they didn't do it. That's such a bad reason.
Yeah,
it sounds like he wants it to look like they did do it, even if they didn't. Like Saddam pretended to have weapons of mass destruction for a while.
Yeah. And his answer there that we don't attack inside Russia.
What do you with the cafe? And
that's not true. That's just a lie. So you
got Roger Waters on a death list.
Exactly. So like this answer actually would, I think, support the theory that Ukraine really did do it, because this is such a bad answer, and he's not telling the truth. Because,
and you know what? It was still more refreshingly honest than Karine Jean-Pierre. It was still more direct, and I appreciated it.
But here's the problem with Zelensky saying we don't attack Russia, we don't have the weapons to attack inside of Russia. It's not true, because listen to this: that his top intelligence official said only recently that we don't need weapons from the U.S. or anyone else to get to the Russians. We have enough Ukrainian means and weapons to do this. So watch this answer.
Do you believe you're hindered by the U.S. insistence that U.S. weapons not be used to attack inside Russia?
Absolutely not. And we do not need weapons from the Americans or anyone else to get to the Russians. We have enough Ukrainian means and weapons to do this.
Then why are we giving you money, man? Wait, what?
But you see it right there. He's asked, are the Americans hindering you from attacking inside Russia? And he says, absolutely not. We have the means to do this ourselves. So
don't use American weapons to do it, right? That's what he said.
But he's bragging there about their capacity to strike inside of Russia.
It sounds like a thing, like they want to be thought, like, I think that they're like, what are they going to win? So what do you got to do? You got to have to escalate it till everybody has to fight now.
Yeah.
You don't think they would throw everyone into war to save stupid Ukraine?
And there's a precedent for that. Remember when those missiles were fired from Ukraine, those air defense missiles were fired from Ukraine into Poland? And immediately Zelensky said this was Russia that did that, and we need action now, by which he meant we need direct intervention, by which he meant we need World War III. And then he was forced to walk that back when it came out, it was confirmed that actually this was a errant Ukrainian air defense missile crossing the border into Poland. So they haven't been shy before about advocating World War III. And here, Zelensky's top intelligence official is bragging that we can strike inside of Russia. So that contradicts Zelensky saying that, we can't do that, that we would never do that. We don't have the weapons to do that. So here's more. Back in January, the same official, Budanov, the top intelligence official in Ukraine, also said that Ukraine would attack deeper inside Russia. This was not long after there were some attacks inside of Russia.
Did Ukraine strike a Russian airbase?
I can give you answer right now on this question.
Okay.
Only after ending of this war.
After the war, you can answer that?
I think so.
What's your reaction to it, even if you don't claim responsibility?
I'm very glad to see this.
Yeah.
That's my reaction.
That's your reaction. You're happy to see it happen.
Yeah.
Do you think there'll be more?
I think so.
Inside Russia? Deep inside Russia?
Deeper and deeper.
Oh, that's hot. How they
And in Crimea?
Are they going to fuck?
Crimea is a part of Ukraine. It's our territory. We can
deeper and
use
deeper.
any
Just slowly closes
on
it.
our territory.
Is Putin terminally ill?
So there it is. He's vowing deeper and deeper attacks inside of Russia.
Did you see it close in on it? Deeper and deeper. Well, Malcolm, can you send me that clip? I need to use that.
I'll send it to you. It is kind of erotic. It is.
It's because the camera pan deeper and deeper.
And look at this too. So again, Zelensky's saying that we would never attack inside Russia. But look, here's a recent headline for the Washington Post. At U.S. behest, Ukraine held off anniversary attacks on Russia. And again, that same Ukrainian official we just saw, he factors into this story. Here it is. In February, when the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine was days away, officials in Kyiv were busy making plans to attack Moscow. Major General Kirilo Budanov, the head of the country's military intelligence directorate, the HUR, instructed, and that's the guy we just saw, instructed one of his officers to get ready for mass strikes with everything the HUR had, according to a classified report from the NSA. Back in Washington, officials were secretly monitoring the Ukrainians' plans. The White House had long worried that attacks inside Russia could provoke an aggressive response from the Kremlin. On February 22nd, 2 days before the anniversary, the CIA circulated a new classified report. The HUR had agreed at Washington's request to postpone strikes on Moscow. So not to promise not to strike Moscow, but just to postpone them.
So hadn't Russia before that also, besides the whole invasion, which they're pretty salty about, but I don't blame them. Russia, don't they have those missiles that can't be shot down?
The hypersonic missiles, yeah.
Yeah, and they got some bunker with some important people in it on because Russia will pinpoint their generals and stuff too. So I'm sure there's a real tit for tat. Aside from just the war, a lot of that's probably fresh off that missile hitting whatever. From what I understand, killed
that bunker
people.
thing could have been a rumor.
Oh, really?
We don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's been confirmed. But yes, certainly, look, it's very plausible that Ukraine did this. They have every incentive to want to escalate the war. All these U.S. leaks show that the U.S. doesn't think Ukraine can gain their territory back. So it makes sense to me that they're trying desperate measures like this to, strike at the head, to decapitate.
It doesn't have to succeed. It just has to provoke it.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
That's all it has to do. It's probably unlikely you're going to get him.
Plenty of likely motives. Budanov told the Washington Post, there are people who plant explosives. There are drones. Until the territorial integrity of Ukraine is restored, there will be problems inside Russia.
They're dumb to do that because Russians who maybe don't want this war to go on forever also, the more they do stupid shit like that, those terror things, how did we get when people did 1 or 2 terror attacks here? We got real intractable is how we got.
Absolutely. And so we don't know what happened, who was behind this drone attack in Moscow. We don't know. But what we do know is that Zelensky claiming that Ukraine does not hit inside of Russia is not true, because his top intelligence official has repeatedly bragged about hitting inside of Russia and promised more attacks.
Zelensky's saying that because he's the one that the people like the the liberal shitlib class pays attention to. That guy you just showed who's like deeper and deeper, they don't know who that is. They all know Zelensky. So it seems like a perfect, I'll go out and say this to the people that, so the Sean Penn brains of the world. And then my lower generals can say this other stuff that the other people can hear.
Right.
Like how Lindsey Graham, it's a real story about Lindsey Graham, a friend of mine told me, he was given advice to somebody running for office. He goes, when you go to Puerto Rico, throw a fundraiser for the separate, what are they, the secessionists, or what are they called? They want the independence movement. Then throw another fundraiser for the stay in America movement. Like, they don't talk. Like, that's what a slick political mind.
Huh.
So of course I'm sure they're doing stuff like that.
And this underscores what a dangerous moment this is. Former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, now deputy head of Russia's Security Council, said the incident leaves us no option but to physically eliminate Zelensky and his clique. So this just captures what a dangerous war this is and why it's imperative for negotiations to end it, because you have incidents like this. And again, we don't know who did what yet, but it leads to threats like this, and this could escalate. If it's proven that Ukraine was behind this, we might see attacks on Zelensky directly, which Russia has avoided.
Well,
so
Russia
far.
said we reserve the right at our choosing to whatever.
Yeah.
So, because I'm sure they don't want to be in. They already wandered into this thing. Like, I'm sure they don't want World War III, right? So they're like, we're going to reserve, but now we can kill him if we want.
That's the message.
Yeah.
Here's Max Blumenthal. The Kyiv regime is denying responsibility for the attempted drone attack on the Kremlin, an attempt to assassinate Putin, which would bring World War III even closer. But as the Gray Zone reported, regime-tied forces have been incentivizing precisely this kind of operation. And this was just recently in the Gray Zone from Alex Rubinstein. Ukrainian banker offers cash for drone terror in Russia. This oligarch offered a $500,000 bounty to any weapons maker able to land a drone in Red Square during Moscow's upcoming Victory Day parade. So there's a lot of circumstantial evidence out there that Ukraine could have been behind this. Their officials promised to carry out attacks like this, and some powerful people have incentivized attacks like this.
Wait, land a drone, not drop a bomb from a drone, just land a drone at the parade?
I think they mean, no, carry out a drone attack.
Oh.
Yeah. And now we have this attack, we don't know by who, on the Kremlin. And this comes after more than a year of the war in which the U.S. has blocked every single effort to negotiate. There have been many occasions when negotiations were possible, when even a tentative settlement was reached. And as we've covered here on the Jimmy Dore Show, those attempts always have been blocked. And so now we're in moments like this where an attack on the Kremlin threatens to escalate this war even further.
We're telling jokes in Nashville, Honolulu, Los Angeles, Northampton, Massachusetts, Syracuse, Cohoes, New York, Hartford, Connecticut, Baltimore, Chicago, Rosemont, San Diego, and more. Go to jimmydore.com to get a link for all those tickets. Plus, you can watch my new special, COVID Lies Are Funny.